Hello, future millionaires. This is Aztec, and this is the CSC, the Crypto Secret Circle. Now, this video is in direct response to my family members, friends, people on this channel that have asked me why I'm so bullish on this space. And when I say space, I mean the crypto blockchain space. So, I do want to tell you that it all really comes down to, the global economic, structure and how I see the future playing out. Also, I'd like to tell you guys about different topics like the dollar, PayPal, and MicroStrategy jumping into this space. Michael Saylor and Jack Dorsey, huge names, very influential, wealthy people jumping in to this space. I also like to tell you about different projects that I think have massive potential to basically think about them and see if you'd like to put them into your portfolio. Overall, there is a fourth industrial revolution that is going on right now, and I'd like to talk about that. And as always, you have to follow the banks, follow smart money. So we'll also talk about that. But this is my channel, the Crypto Secret Circle, and I generally talk about a lot of different types of projects that I am interested in that are doing, various very revolutionary type things in fintech. And I even make projections into the future. For instance, on this video here, at the very beginning of the year, I told everyone that I thought Ethereum would steal the show when everyone thought that Bitcoin would actually steal the show for this year. And, overall, there's a lot of very powerful information that you can find in my videos, news and things like that. So this is my channel. Now, in regards to the question that everyone has for me, which is why I'm bullish on Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and blockchain, I'd like to go ahead and explain that today. So we have the dollar, and as you can see, this chart goes all the way back to the middle of the 80s here, and you can see that it's been moving down sideways. Now, I don't want to be too pessimistic. I don't want to say that the dollar doesn't have a future and that we're going to go bankrupt and things like that. But what I do see is that the dollar is becoming more and more inflated. Back in the 1920s, you could take $20 and you could possibly buy a suit, take your girlfriend out, and nowadays you can possibly take your family out for McDonald's. So you can see that the value of the dollar has been moving down. So is it really the dollar that we want to capture? Now, nothing I talk about today or on my channel is financial advice or should be seen as financial advice. These are all my opinions. I do a lot of research, and I'm just sharing this with my friends. That's the way I look at it. I do work in this space. I work for a blockchain marketing and consultancy firm. I do work with some of the projects I talk about, but these are my own opinions, and again, should not be seen as financial advice. But overall, we see the dollar here, and we see that the dollar is basically being inflated because it's being printed over and over and over, and essentially the banks and the government are seeking more and more stimulus, and this basically brings the value of the dollar down. So because I know that, being that the dollar is the world reserve currency, I'm looking for something else to acquire. I like something I'd like to get into later on is real estate. But for now, the thing that I like to acquire that I think can, I personally believe can give me exponential gains is hard assets like gold and silver, and specifically cryptocurrencies. Now, hard assets like gold and silver are just something I'm interested in, but if the dollar does continue to go down, those hard assets will basically kind of hedge against the system, and cryptocurrencies would give me the most gains. In my opinion, that's what I believe. So we have to look at the space in general. Over the years, we've always looked for large institutions and entities to take up the cryptocurrency blockchain flag and fly it. And now it's happening. So this is a monumental time in history where we see the crypto space being validated, truly validated by huge entities, for instance, like PayPal. So here we have a tweet from CoinDesk, and it's saying PayPal has granted New York's first conditional bit license for a partnership with Paxos Global, enabling its 325 million customers to buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies. Now, you probably don't know, but the bit license is one of the hardest licenses to acquire, especially being that it's out of New York and they're extremely stringent on fintech. And basically, being that PayPal has acquired this and is looking to offer cryptocurrencies for its customers is extremely bullish for this space. Now, this is something that is undergoing and being developed as we speak, but it is happening, and PayPal is joining the space. Also, PayPal is exploring acquisitions of cryptocurrency companies, including Bitcoin custodian BitGo. Overall, you basically acquire companies so that you can obtain mind share and the know-how of how to maneuver the space. So this is extremely bullish to see PayPal doing this. Again, PayPal is launching very publicly, out on Twitter and other news instruments, explaining today we are announcing the launch of a new service that will enable customers to buy, hold, and sell cryptocurrency directly from their PayPal account. So this is going to be something that is extremely accessible. And what I see is that PayPal joins today. What happens when you have Apple, Google, join this space and create some new iteration of this type of service or other services surrounding the crypto space? It all starts with one big player, and then the others jump on board. And we'll kind of get into that today. But we have to start with PayPal because it's huge. It's huge news. Now, these are publicly listed companies that are also acquiring Bitcoin and or cryptocurrencies. So you have Grayscale at the top of the list. They actually hold $498 million worth of cryptocurrencies. You have MicroStrategy. This is huge. They recently purchased a total of $420 million worth of Bitcoin. You have Galaxy Digital at 180 million, Square at 50 million. You guys probably know or have heard of Square. They're behind the technology where it's like this little box that you can hook into your phone and slide your card so anyone can take payments on the street or being a vendor or whatever. Square is a huge company. They're now acquiring cryptocurrencies and other publicly listed companies down below. So what we see is that it all started with one, and then these other companies started buying Bitcoin. Now you see PayPal jumping in, and they're starting like a custodial type service for their customers. What happens when other large companies do this? Now, also we have Michael Saylor. So he actually is stating here on his Twitter, he says, "Some have asked how much Bitcoin I own. I personally hodl 17,732 Bitcoin, which I bought at $9,882 each on average. I informed MicroStrategy of these holdings before the company decided to buy Bitcoin for itself." So, Michael Saylor is basically the co-founder of MicroStrategy, which is the largest independent publicly traded business intelligence company with the leading enterprise analytics platform enabling intelligence everywhere. Basically, it's a huge company, and elites like Michael Saylor and Jack Dorsey are buying Bitcoin. A lot of people are saying the elites are selling, they're getting out of this space. That's not true. They're actually buying Bitcoin. They're buying cryptocurrency. And not only that, the companies that are surrounding these large co-founders or people are also buying Bitcoin, as you can see here. So in regards to Jack Dorsey, he is the co-founder of Square. He actually adds he's saying that he added 4,709 Bitcoin to their balance sheet. Now, to correct myself, it's not that he specifically added it, but Square announced that they have acquired, the Bitcoin. And also, we do know that Jack Dorsey is a huge proponent of Bitcoin. You can actually look at his Twitter here, and he actually has Bitcoin showing. He doesn't have anything about who he is, but he does have the Bitcoin hashtag here. So, very big players are jumping into this space. That's what we have to realize. Now, overall, the reason why I'm personally bullish on this space is because it gives us a chance to, acquire different types of cryptocurrencies and put them into your portfolio. Now, these cryptocurrencies are revolutionizing fintech, changing the world. You have Ethereum here, which is the second largest cryptocurrency in regards to market cap. And Ethereum is basically a global open source platform for decentralized applications. Now, the world needs decentralization, for instance, for many things. If you have an application that's centralized, let's say it like that, that entity has total control of the application, everything that happens within it. They can censor people. They can, basically take from them. But with a decentralized application, there's no centralized authority over it, and it's run by, many different nodes or people around the world, so that no one fully has control of the system, and you get a more fair system. So decentralized applications are going to be very important and will revolutionize many spaces within the world. So Ethereum is just one of the projects I'm very interested in. I also have MATIC network in my portfolio. Now, they are a scalable and instant blockchain, and essentially what their goal is and what they are already doing is scaling Ethereum, which I just talked about. Now, Ethereum has some issues with taking applications and letting them grow because of its ability to offer transactions per second for their applications. So MATIC comes into play because it's going to give these applications the ability to scale for mass adoption type purposes. This is a very interesting project to me. And when you talk about market cap, if you don't know what market cap is, for instance, like MATIC here, there's only so much that's invested within these companies right now. For instance, if you look at like a project or a company like, Amazon, it has like $2 trillion invested in it from around the world. A project like the MATIC network might have around $50 million. So if you invest in something when it's so new, and as more people invest in it and the value grows, you have more opportunity for a lot larger gains. Now, again, this is not financial advice, but if you get into things early, it really gives you a lot more opportunity. So again, the MATIC network is something I'm very interested in. Also, Unilend, which is unlocking the true potential of decentralized finance. They are working in the DeFi space, so decentralized finance. Unilend is very important because it basically is giving the people that use the exchange the ability to list any coin or token and trade them, create pools of liquidity and things like this. This is very revolutionary, and again, it has a very small market cap as of right now. There's also projects within this space like Reserve. Now, Reserve is a stable coin type project, and what that means is there's for every coin you have, it's tied to some assets. Generally speaking, a stable coin is tied directly to something like the dollar. So if you have one stable coin, it equals one digital dollar. And in this case, it's slightly different because it's a basket of currencies that stabilize the value of the stablecoin. But they also have a speculative asset called RSR, which is a token. And it's very interesting because with PayPal jumping in to this space, we have to see that There are some investors here like Peter Thiel, you can see here, and Jack Selby, which are part of the PayPal mafia that are behind, projects like Reserve, at least from an investor standpoint. So there's some very interesting plays that you can make within the cryptosphere. Also, you have projects like Chainlink. Now, Chainlink, as they say here, it says the Chainlink network provides reliable, tamper-proof inputs and outputs for complex smart contracts on any blockchain. Essentially, they give you the ability to communicate between blockchains, so different cryptocurrencies. I'm trying to make this simple just in case you're not familiar with this space. And acquire information from outside of the blockchain and pull it into the blockchain so that something can be settled like a smart contract. For instance, if you have an application or a DApp, essentially in this case, that is, let's say, for betting, and you have a bet against two different boxers, they have to pull and source information in a way where no one can cheat the system. So an oracle like Chainlink basically gives the technology and the ability to these applications to source data to the blockchain so that this bet can happen and there can be a fair winner. So Chainlink is also a very exceptional and awesome project I'm interested in. Also, persistence. This is a project that's in the making, but still, it's something that you can get into. It's very, very early with this project. They haven't even discussed like a public sale for this project at this time, but persistence bridges DeFi, decentralized finance, and traditional finance by facilitating borrowing of crypto assets using real-world assets as collateral. Essentially, it's a project that is bridging decentralized finance, within the crypto sphere, and traditional finance from, outside of our world, as you could say. So, there's a lot of movements that are happening within this space. Very interesting projects, low cap or, small market cap type projects that you can invest in that have, opportunity to grow, very largely. Back in 2017, the crypto space just blew up, and people were jumping in, and some of these projects went up thousands of X's. You can say hundreds of thousands of percent up. So this space really can give people the opportunity to become millionaires almost all the time. But in the bull run, as they say, you have a lot more chances. Also, I'm very interested in crypto.com, which is a custodial service that offers cryptocurrency, and overall the project just has a really nice exchange application. It's very intuitive and easy to use, and they actually have cryptocurrency type cards, so you can actually take cryptocurrency and spend it. So besides the big players that are coming in, there's already projects like crypto.com that you can invest in essentially via their CRO token, so you can speculate on these projects. So there's lots of plays that you can make within this space, and these are just some of the plays and some of the projects that I'm interested that I talk about on my channel. Now, I did bring up the big topic, Fourth Industrial Revolution, and this is an article by the Cardano Foundation, which is another project I'm very, very interested in, bullish on. But in regards to what it's talking about, we're only going to take a little section of this article and talk about this because it's very important to know what's happening as a whole, within the world. So here, this article says this year, now this is in 2019, says this year's World Economic Forum meeting in Davos brought together 3,000 global leaders from 100 governments and 1,000 companies, politicians, academics, NGOs, and religious and industry leaders met in the Swiss resort each year to discuss issues of global concern and their potential solutions. As always, there is a theme that shapes the agenda, and sessions of the WEF week-long meeting, and this year's was Globalization 4.0, Shaping a Global Architecture in the Age of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the Fourth Industrial Revolution, but as always, it's just important to know that there's always elites or governments that are trying to shape the future. And what we see here is that the the WEF, or the World Economic Forum, last year actually talked about shaping global architecture, and specifically something that came up within this meeting of basically global elites was financial and fintech. Bitcoin was a topic here. And just to kind of tell you what the fourth industrial revolution is, because you could be a part of this, when you join this space. Shows here. So what is the fourth industrial revolution? The first industrial revolution dates back to the 18th century, when the development of steam engines, factories, and the mass production transformed Britain's agrarian society. This was followed by the emergence of electric power, which drove the growth of industries and created new ones. The third revolution of the last century was built on electronics and computer systems. Now technologies such as artificial intelligence, robotics, gene editing, and nanotechnology are combining to interact with the physical, digital, and biological aspects of society. The size, scope, and complexity of today's society is unparalleled. Human society is evolving at an ever faster rate and has the capability to disrupt every industry. And like past revolutions, this one has the potential to change global economics, raise income levels, and improve equality for all populations. But also, like past revolutions, it can exclude those who can't afford or gain access to these new technologies, thereby restricting their gain in growth. So, it's important to always get into things early. I think that my goal here is to get into these things early before, your average person can get into, the space with, without there being any, anything really holding you back. For instance, as an example, if you were to get into, let's say, buying Apple way back in the 90s, you would be able to afford many shares of Apple. Now today, one Apple share is worth so much money, your average person would probably only be able to buy one or two, maybe 10 shares of Apple. But when you get in early, it really gives you a chance to be a part of something and have a lot less restrictions. So also, if you're early, you'll be able to use the technology a lot more seamlessly, and find the very small type opportunities that can turn into very big opportunities. So overall, I think what this is showing us is that the world is always evolving. There is a fourth industrial revolution that's happening, and basically there's very elite type people that are shaping this today, and specifically with cryptocurrency, this is a part of it. If you actually start researching some of the topics that are talked about within the World Economic Forum, cryptocurrency is one of them. Fintech is. So it's important to realize that the elites are already talking about this subject, and that means that there's a future for it. And in regards to the elites, we should also talk about banks. We want to follow smart money. We want to know what the banks are doing. And there's projects like XRP, which is associated with the company Ripple, that are working with many banks already. Various large banks around the world are experimenting with this technology. For instance, XRP is a cryptocurrency technology that allows people to transfer money, from country to country very seamlessly and affordably. Right now, we use the SWIFT system, and it can take days. Sometimes there's issues with the technology there, but cryptocurrency, as another use case, allows people to send money very quickly and affordably without there being really any issues. Everything's verifiable, and it's just a very great technology. So that's just one of the use cases, of course. And you see that Bank of America is actually working with XRP technology and Ripple here. So even the banks are jumping in. And as you can see here, a very large Indian bank is planning to soon allow its customers to buy Bitcoin with cash. So, if you're like here in the States, this would be the equivalent of like Bank of America coming out and saying, hey, we're going to offer the ability for you to come in and exchange crypto at our bank. This is huge, 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 especially because India is a very, very up and coming country, a country that has exceptional people, and some of the most brightest, and not if not the most brightest developers in the world. Now their banks are going to offer cryptocurrencies. So this is huge, especially for a project like MATIC, because MATIC is an Indian-grown company and project. So essentially, this could definitely boost projects from around the world, specifically even possibly like MATIC. This is just speculation, of course. Also, Singapore's biggest bank is launching a crypto exchange. And my buddy Lark is saying the Bitcoin FOMO is real. So fear of missing out. So instead of fearing of missing out, I think today what we should do is realize that the world is evolving. This space is becoming more legitimized day by day. And, as you can see, the elites are already talking about this. Banks are already experimenting and or getting ready to provide the ability to buy cryptocurrencies. Influential people from around the world are buying Bitcoin, and huge companies are investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies already. So, overall, the space has already been legitimized 10 times over. But, in general, the space is growing very fast. And I would like to tell you today, you could definitely subscribe to my channel and learn more about these types of projects, pick my brain, and have access to me through my channel. Again, nothing I say is financial advice, but I might be able to help you along the way. So that's it today. Never give up on the future of money. Take it easy, guys.